I think he can hear you, Ray.
Don't move. It won't hurt you.
I feel the need for speed. Ow! So together we're the Three Amigos.
Right here. Stop.
What happened? Are you okay?
He's slimy. Is it getting hot in here? Is it just me?
No, go past this. Past this part. In fact, never play this again.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to After the Weekend, where we review movies from the past, either 80s, 90s, or the 2000s. But we have a special episode tonight. We'll get in that in a second. I am JT Gunn, and we have Beard of Liberty next to me. How you doing, man?
Hello. Doing pretty good.
Are you now? We both live in Texas. Quick update here. We had was it a hurricane? Was it Beryl?
Yeah.
Who names it? What is a barrel? Like
It's
a whiskey
it's
barrel?
name.
Like,
But
who's
yeah,
the last person that had the name Barrel?
don't make me look it up.
I don't know anybody who named it with the name Barrel. But anyways, it started in Houston, or it started way out in the Caribbean. Finally made it to Houston, up to you, and now me. And we just been wet all day. So.
Yeah, we got a decent amount of rain and a fair amount of wind. It was only a category 1, and it downgraded pretty quickly. And I've been in much worse, so I wasn't expecting a lot of damage. And immediately locally, not much, just kind of a mess I got to clean up. But went out for a drive, and there were a lot more trees down and a lot more power out than I expected.
Well, this side of
I
Texas
got lucky.
has been hit with a lot of crazy storms recently, so I'm sure things are still coming back together. So yeah, it's been kind of interesting. It's my first. I wasn't in the hurricane, but it's my first tropical storm that came from a hurricane since living here. So interesting.
Yeah, you get used to them. Sometimes
It's
just
interesting
one
to
after
watch.
the other.
It just kind of spins there. And you're like, what's
It's
happening?
really crazy when you have a big one and you actually get the eye of the hurricane directly over the top of you. It's weird, like the peaceful, like all the noise just dies out.
Yeah, I was kind of in. We were kind of in somewhat what the eye used to be. Anyways, so far everything's good. The garden has gotten really wet. I'm sure I'll have to.
Plenty of rain.
There's plenty of rain. Anyways, it's good to see you, man. It's Monday night. We usually, like I said, we review movies from our past, and these are technically in the past. They're not too old, but tonight we're going to review X-Men Origins, Wolverine, and Deadpool. So we'll get into why we chose those movies and everything, but let's say hello to Love It After Ever. Hype. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Are you trying to say like you're super excited for this review?
She's our hype man.
Hype lady.
It's 2024. She'd be a hype man.
Okay, I guess that's true. And then we got Ubaldo T. Good to see you, man. Haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us tonight. Hope you're doing well. All right, so there we go. And then so yeah, tonight we are reviewing X-Men Origins, Wolverine, and Deadpool. So it's another double feature. We did a double feature last week.
Yep.
And we did it for 4th of July, and we did the 2 Captain America movies. So these are 2. Look at that, people. You got 4 superhero movies in a row.
And
That's
we're
pretty.
not done yet.
No, we're not done yet. You are absolutely right. We're hinting at something, but yeah. Oh, wait. Before we do this, I forgot. I totally forgot. We're talking about hurricanes, and I was going to share something with everyone. If you didn't know, my friend over here, Beard of Liberty, did something fun on Saturday,
Oh, no.
and he played a game, another superhero game, another superhero movie, and he played Guardians of the Galaxy, and he streamed a game on the channel. So if this is something you would like to see more of,
I think
please.
I think I should have chosen a better game. I was not prepared for that one. I know I'm not the only one. Those
Yeah.
die-cast jet planes.
You're like checking out his
Yeah.
room.
Yes, it's like early in the game. It's all environment before you kind of get into everything. So I don't really want to get into that. This is your channel. I'm not going to go any further. Yeah. So the short version of why I kind of started doing some of this is I had a buddy years ago that tried to get me into streaming games, kind of early YouTube, and I just could never make myself do it. And I was been thinking about him recently because we're coming up on the 5th anniversary of his passing. And I just decided that, you know what, Daniel would want me to just man up and just start putting stuff on YouTube, even if I don't know what I'm doing. So
that's true.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, man.
So even if people don't really necessarily want to see this on the After the Weekend, I'm going to start probably doing that on my channel occasionally.
Yeah,
just
so
whenever.
You're more than welcome to play games on this channel. But if you all want to see him continue playing this game or other movie type of games, let us know. And then make sure you go and hit the thumbs up. And that way we know you like it. So there you go. Go check that out. I hope you had fun doing it.
I had fun until I got to the point where I realized like it's really, it was only like 2 people in the chat and I still was having a hard time focusing on what I was supposed to be doing in the game.
Yeah. So I do game streaming on my other, I guess it would be my 3rd channel, over there at Caps Arcade, and I'm doing our Uncharted. And yes, there are times I'm not as popular as some of the other gamers out there, but you're literally just talking to yourself, hoping that when people watch you later, you're somewhat entertaining.
Yeah.
So that's how it goes.
I realized about that point where I was kind of lost and didn't know where I was going. I probably should just pull the plug instead of making everybody suffer through it.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. A lot of people come by and they're just like,
yeah. Although hate comments it's still engagement according to YouTube. So
it is. So if people hate you, you probably get a little bit more of some action there. All right, so Wolverine Origins and Deadpool. So we are reviewing these 2 movies side by side, or not side by side, but double feature. The reason why we're doing this is because we're both kind of excited, hyped. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get it on the day 1 in the movie theater, but I'm hoping I can see this one in the movie theater. I don't really go to the movie theaters too often anymore, but I'm hoping to go see Deadpool and Wolverine. This is the 3rd installment of the Deadpool franchise, which has been a fantastic franchise. I think so.
Yes.
We're going to review number 1 tonight. Number 2 was fun, but I still think number 1 is the best so far.
Oh, it was just about perfect. Spoiler.
Yeah. But this one could be that, one sequel that takes over the first movie, kind of like.
It's got a lot of potential, but I'm also kind of concerned, mostly just like the direction that Hollywood in general has gone, but also the Logan movie was such a good send-off for Wolverine.
I know.
We'll get into that. But I saw that he was coming back, so.
Well, yeah, and there's a lot of theories about which Wolverine this is, right? Yeah. And we made it. We'll get into that when we talk about X-Men's story here, and then also both these. What make this movie, I think, better than most of the recent superhero movies, is both of these actors have pride in their character.
Yes.
Hugh Jackman, literally from day 1, put a lot of dedication in Wolverine because he knew how the fans liked Wolverine. I think he even liked Wolverine as a kid.
I mean, he did have one thing against him, and it's he's way too tall to be Wolverine, but he owned the character and made everybody just believe it, because that was an early nitpick way back in the day when people are like, he's way too tall to be Wolverine, but
Who are they gonna find?
once they
Danny
saw
DeVito?
him actually kind of embody that character, we're like, okay, yeah, he's a good choice.
He's a great choice. And then the same with Ryan Reynolds. I think
Yeah, he's basically been auditioning for Deadpool since he started acting.
yes, and I think he was kind of disappointed with when we're gonna get into that too, or next. But I believe that Deadpool kind of he was ashamed of how it started. So I but I believe both of them by the end of their runs, I think this will be it. They kind of morph their characters into like a memorable character in Hollywood, and I think that's pretty.
And-
That's like a
and
Superman
they both-
or a Batman.
They
So.
both put in the work. I mean, credit to a lot of these guys that have done Marvel heroes that put in the physicality to put themselves in shape to kind of
Pretty
be
yeah,
that
for
superhero
like,
physique.
yeah, like a couple decades.
Like for example, when Wolverine jumps out of the tank, the water tank after he gets the adamantium on his bones, there's no CG there. That's just how Hugh Jackman looks.
Yeah, and
they actually put a muscle suit inside the Deadpool suit initially, but Ryan Reynolds got too bulky that they had to take it out because it just made him look fat.
yeah, and Wolverine's I think been playing Deadpool since like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
I think he's played, so he's almost 20 years,
Mhm.
or a little over 20 years. All right, so so we're excited about this. So we wanted to review both these movies together. Can't wait to see this movie. All right, good to see you, Miss Sassy.
Thanks for dropping in.
All right, so so here you go. These are the two images from both origin movies. So you've got both our origin movies, loosely. You've got Logan there. You got Logan there, and then you've got Wade on the other side there. And you know they both look like their characters in the movie. So
Yeah, I mean, and the jacket that Wolverine's got on is a nod to the brown and yellow or brown and orange costume that he had
yes,
for a little while.
Yep. And in the Deadpool movie, it's funny because he goes through kind of like that Spider-Man early stage where he's making his own costume, right? He's wearing like a scarf, like a beanie, and then he cuts out his eyes, and then so he goes through the phases of his costume. And you know, Wolverine does that too. When you watch the first X-Men, if you remember, he was just dressed like this. He was in a t-shirt and jeans. He wasn't really in a leotard, right? He wasn't suit yet.
And when they first find him in the bar, he's wearing that same jacket. So
yes,
that's a callback there. But yeah, they have that infamous line, "What would you prefer, yellow spandex?" And of course, all the comic book fans were like, "Yes, that's what we want."
Yeah, I know. I was kind of happy that because like the first X-Men movie came out in 2000, so like Wolverine, he's been playing Wolverine for almost 24 years. So when they first came out with him, when they first introduced Hugh Jackman as Wolverine in X-Men, I didn't mind that he wasn't, because remember when that movie came out, that was very early 2000. That looked like
they were going with a very of the time period aesthetic, and honestly, I think if they had tried to do what we're going to see them dressed in the new movie coming out, it just would not have landed.
No, because it was very, if you look at it back now and you know like the things that you saw earlier, like with music videos and TV shows, and that's what everybody looked like. Everybody looked like a boy band.
Yeah.
So all right, so we're gonna start off with X-Men Origins, where this is Wolverine's story, and this came out in 2009. And I believe I believe this was, I'm trying to remember if this was after, I'll double check here. Yes, this was also after X2, the sequel to X-Men.
Yes.
Yeah. So
and before the Wolverine, which I think was 13.
Yeah, before the Wolverine where he fights the samurai. But as you can see, there's multiple characters here and multiple origin stories in this film. And the history of this one really was to kick off this whole, I don't know if you remember, but it was supposed to kick off this whole series of origin stories. Like if this one did okay, if this one
Yeah.
was popular. Hey, what's up, Roman?
Howdy,
Good
man.
to see you. If this
Yeah, I
one-
think the next one that was in line was going to be a Magneto movie, and then they just kind of rebooted it into First Class.
Yeah, this was if this one came out of the gates on fire, I think they would have done like a origins for Cyclops. They probably would have done an origins for even Gambit over there.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is one of the reasons why you put such recognizable characters, not just those two, but you also have Emma Frost. And I
Yeah,
think
so
those
they
are actually the only X-Men characters that are named in this, even though there's a whole bunch of other ones in the background that
Yeah.
it's pretty clear who they are, but they never state them by name.
right, and I think their plan was to make like a couple, 2 or 3 origins. That's why it was called X-Men Origins, and then Wolverine was supposed to be the first one. And you might have gotten some other characters. Who knows what you would have gotten? But
Yeah.
it's kind of a shame because it would have been kind of fun to see those movies. Those characters behind the story of some of those, and
Yeah,
I think
I actually wouldn't have minded seeing a Cyclops origin, do the character right, not because they did him dirty in the movies, because that character is actually pretty awesome.
who did you say?
Cyclops.
Yeah, they kind of shoved his origin in here, but like I said, I was hoping they would have cleaned that up a little bit with another version, but it is so this anyways. But this one mostly focuses around Wolverine and his brother, Sabretooth.
That's a movie creation that they're half brothers.
The half brothers.
Not a fan of it.
But they do kind of like this intro to their lives where they're kind of like kids in like I think it's like the early 1800s, I believe. They're kids, and
I think it's actually in the early 1700s because they participate in the Revolutionary War.
Yeah, I know. So and the Civil War, and both World War II. So they both live very long, and they both have the same healing abilities. They both have some special features of animal-like claw. Either a claw, they have claws like Logan obviously has the 3 claws that come out of his hand.
Right.
Sabretooth has the claws, but they're both like bone, right? They start out bone. And then they're even in the Vietnam War. I think they're in all wars because I think what happens is they didn't really say this, but they hinted it in the movie is they were like these super soldiers that the U.S. had. They knew they had in their back pocket. And they just never told anybody, right?
Yeah.
So they were always there, like hired to do.
I mean, if you got somebody who can't be killed that you could just keep bringing back, why not?
Yeah. And but again, they are brothers. They have kind of like this bond as kids, like they'll stick together no matter what, and they do this weird thing back to back, where they go back to back and fight bad guys. But as they get older, as they go through history, one brother becomes more compassionate about the enemy. The other becomes very ruthless, and Logan is the compassionate one. And
Sabretooth definitely embraces the animalistic side of him.
Yeah, he wants to kind of like rape and pillage and kill everybody. So it's Victor Creed is who he plays. That's Levi Schreiber, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Leave Schreiber, I think.
Yeah. But there you go. I got there's 2 versions of them in the comic books. I do remember Sabretooth in the cartoon. I always thought he was very cool, but he's very different looking. And, and what's interesting, and it kind of took me by shock when I first saw this movie. Remember Sabretooth is in X-Men 1. They fight him in the snow, and there's no hint that they're brothers. He looks like this guy with a mane. He looks like what's right there on the screen. And it's like, why did they do that? Why didn't they pick a different character to be his brother? You know what I mean?
They recast the role here, I think, because they wanted somebody who looked a little bit younger than the guy who originally played him. But he's also really good friends with Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, but why didn't he grow blonde hair? Like maybe he could have.
Yeah.
Maybe his hair just got long. Maybe that's part of the
He did.
jacket.
He also did put in the work. They were going to give him a muscle suit, and he said, "No, if Hugh's going to hit the gym, I'm hitting the gym too."
Well, yeah, look, I'm not going to hate on his. I think he played pretty well as his brother, and he was a pretty cool.
He did all right based on the character that they had already previously established. Yeah,
but I wish they would have made him somebody other than Sabretooth, because it would have made more sense than the other one that was out there. But again, brothers, they quarrel, they separate after a skirmish in Vietnam, where they, they team up with a like a group of soldiers, and they kind of break off because they're kind of, they want to do their own thing. So they do split off. So you do have that, and then Wolverine teams, like, this is the team that I mentioned. It's like, well, the core, like, not really. This is not really the team, but this is the core characters that they kind of focus on in this movie. So they have Wolverine, obviously, Sabretooth, and then you have Gambit, which I don't know if that's really Gambit.
Oh no, Gambit comes in later.
He does come in. He's not part of the team. I'm just saying, I mess that up. This is these are the core mutants that they focus on in the movie.
Yeah, because you got Silver Fox and Wraith. He's not pictured here, but you also have the guy that becomes Blob.
Yeah, Blob.
But they're basically special forces, like shadow infiltrators that kind of get sent in to take care of stuff.
Yeah, and Deadpool, Wade Wilson, is also involved with that group, and he's there on it's Ryan Reynolds on the red shirt there, and then Logan's girlfriend, she's also a mutant. But these are the five, like, main mutants that they kind of center around. I think it was just hard to judge this one, because that each character probably could have been a little bit better to the comics. Like Gambit, like, I was so excited when I heard that Gambit was going to be in this movie.
I actually thought that they did him better than most of the other characters in here.
I know, but he's not. He's okay. I love Tim Riggins from Friday Night Lights. I love that guy. I'll never make fun of Tim Riggins. That's his character's name in Friday Night Lights, by the way. But I will. And I will. What do you say? I feel bad for him, because he tried to do like a Louisiana accent and he couldn't.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, come on. You should have just scrap it.
Yeah, Remy's accent has always been kind of over the top anyway, like going back to the old 90s cartoon.
Just scrap it like Kevin Costner in Robin Hood. Just scrap it. You would have been fine. And then again,
like Scarlet Witch, and just stop using it eventually.
Yeah, I wish, though, I wish this movie would have done a lot better, because I'm thinking one of the other origin movies would have been Gambit, and I think that would have been great for. I think that would have been fantastic for Tyler Kitsch.
It would have been interesting to try to. I mean, just the time periods that when you start thinking about it, because it would put Gambit much older than Rogue, like creepily older than Rogue, if you age him up to the point where the first.
That's the other thing.
Happened. Yeah.
But I don't know if he was that much older, because remember, they show Cyclops in this movie.
Yeah.
So maybe your timeline's a little off. But you do see Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. We'll get into that a little bit more. And then you have the main bad guy, and this is Stryker. Stryker's well known in the comics. He's a colonel, general, like, he's just a gnarly, sadistic army dude. And he's creating this Weapon X team, and that's loosely based on some stuff in the comic books, where he finds this metal in Africa, right? Africa. Remember, Marvel wasn't connected here, so they hinted at it. It was from Africa, from Black Panther, but it really wasn't. So in this movie, I don't know why they even said Africa. I'm not sure why he said that. But are you frozen? Beard is frozen. He went to bye-bye. Oh, we'll wait to see if he comes. See if he comes back. Oh no. All right. So, anyways, he basically, hopefully he's okay. He is completely locked out and frozen. Let's see what happened. Are we still live? Please tell me, are we still live? I think we are. How's it going, guys? Unapologetically, I love this movie. Haha. Besides Logan and the 2 Deadpool films, is my favorite. Oh, really? That's cool, Travis. Yeah, I mean, this is a fun. This is a fun movie. It's just not one of the best X-Men movies. That's how I feel, but I didn't hate it. If you want to rewatch it and kind of like think, you want to rewatch it, then it's a good rewatch. You should, if you haven't seen it in a while. But yeah, again, this is Stryker. He sets up the Weapon X program. He wants Wolverine. He gets this metal from Africa, and he puts it into Wolverine's body, and he gets a little extra stronger. And that's what this is, the scene where you see what Beard mentioned earlier, where that's not CG. That's literally Hugh Jackman all jacked up. Oh yeah, so it's Hugh Jackman all jacked up.
That's what she said.
Okay, one interesting detail is Stryker has a revolver with 6 adamantium bullets, of which he fires 5, leaving one last bullet, which you can assume is the one we see in Logan. Oh, that's pretty cool. Did not know that. You must really like this movie. I didn't notice that either. I didn't count the bullets. Let me check on Beard real quick, see if he's okay. But again, we've been hit with rain, so let me just text him real quick to make sure he's okay. He probably had lost internet or something. Okay, so remember one. Okay, let's see. R2 says, "Hey, good to see you, buddy. I remember watching the midnight release of X-Men Origins, and there was a group of fat women in front of me that would golf clap every time he." Well, yeah. You didn't do that either? I mean, I did. I golf clapped every time. I mean, I literally went like this. I mean, how
Sorry
can you...
about that. The power blip, the internet reset, and the cell service is so bad out here. I can't even connect to YouTube on my phone. And sometimes texts don't even go through if I don't have Wi-Fi. So I just had to sit here and wait.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you want to be off camera? You're still kind of glitzy.
I'll just do this for now. I have no idea why that happened.
Here's Beard when the power went out.
Rise and shine. And don't forget your booties, because it's cold out there today.
Well, we just got done talking. I just got done talking about how Stryker here started Weapon X, put the metal from Africa into Wolverine to make him have metal bones.
Well, I don't know if you covered it too. He kind of suckered into doing that because he wants to go after Sabretooth, because it's the point where they've had their real falling out, and so he's kind of manipulating Logan into doing this.
Right. I was saving that for you.
Okay.
You can come back on camera if you feel like you're good.
I have no idea, because everything looks fine on my end.
Okay. So we were talking about this, and then I said, I was saying, like, it's kind of funny they hinted that I have a medal in Africa, and I was like, what are you referencing here? Because at the time you didn't know there was going to be a Black Panther. At this time you didn't know there was going to be a Marvel MCU. So I wonder. I remember when I watched this.
It's also interesting that they went with a metal in Africa, because that typically makes you think of vibranium, not.
That's what I said.
Yeah,
when you blipped out, I said that, and when I first saw this movie, I was like, "Oh, are they gonna talk about Black Panther? Like, are we gonna get a Black Panther origin movie?"
It was one of those weird things where they had to like dance around it because they didn't have rights to certain things. It's kind of like in Captain America when they say it's a vibranium alloy. That other part of that alloy is adamantium, but they couldn't use that at the time.
Right. Now here's the first appearance of Deadpool in any Marvel movie, and this is again Ryan Reynolds, and he was super excited to play this character. However, he got, I would say, misrepresented, shafted. What do we say here? He got think of a good word. Let's see. He got
Move this man!
I don't hate Ryan Reynolds. I mean, I'm sure he would.
I don't think it's in my trivia for later, but he wasn't even on set for the final fight. Like he had moved on to go do a different project, and then like weeks later they filmed a few close-ups of him in the makeup. Like he didn't want to have like anything to do with this at that point.
Right. I think he was very upset because, again, we mentioned earlier, he was very dedicated to this character. He wanted to play this character for a long time, and he finally got it in this chance, and they kind of did him wrong. Now, they did make him a merc with a mouth. He did have the swords. He was really good with his guns. He was human with some mutant DNA. Like he was
they basically made him a chimera and put every power they could possibly harvest off of other people.
Yeah, but when he's here as regular Deadpool, he's because just like in the movie we're going to review here in a little bit, he has a touch of mutant DNA. That's why
he's got like enhanced reflexes and things like that.
Yeah, he's got like I'm not someone with genes, so I'm not a geneticist. So whatever the opposite of dominant is, that's what he has. Strangely, if not intentionally, Travis says, this story is very identical to Logan at points. Logan is running from Achille Lake, stays with the family, gets killed, helps out mutant. Yeah, you are absolutely right. That's pretty cool. Thanks for sharing that. But yeah, it looks like R2 and Travis are fact checking each other back and forth in the chat.
I like it.
Both films also end with a computer-controlled mutant with Logan's DNA. Yep. Fighting Logan and Hugh Jackman getting anti bullet to the head. Yeah. Weapon.
And I think we just need to go ahead and also just say that we need to be pronouncing Hugh Jackman as huge jacked man, because the dude got jacked.
Let the romance begin.
Romancing the bone.
What?
It was that one, or it would have been
Hey, Goose, you big stud! That's me,
All right. So this is, and then he turns into this Weapon X, where he's bald. He's got no mouth. They zip his mouth up because they don't want him talking.
Technically, he's Weapon 11, because in this canonicity, it's not technically Weapon X. It was the Weapon 10 project that was the adamantium skeleton. And then Weapon 11 was this abomination.
Yeah, I'm not sure where they got this character from, because he's got Cyclops' eyes. He's got the teleportation from Nightcrawler. He's got like
the Wraith character that was played by Will.i.am. I think he was original creation, and they gave him that teleportation power because he liked Nightcrawler.
That's pretty funny. In Night of the Museum 3, they call him Huge Ackman. I like that. You know, Travis, you get all right. So again, they have this big epic scene battle, the two of them at the end, which Wolverine and Deadpool do fight in the comics. Gets his head cut off, Deadpool does, and they like take down like half of 3 Mile Island, which I think would be like a nuclear accident. And
you would at least make the news.
And I think everything around there would be contaminated. If there was I'm sure there was a leak. And
yeah,
when they showed his head spinning with the red light, it was a laser. That would have like chopped off all the tunnels, all the pipes, all the houses, like things miles, like someone in like Arizona would have had their like head chopped
Somebody
off.
in like Tempe, Arizona, is looking up in the night sky. They just see a red laser go boom, and a few seconds later, boom. The hell is this?
Come on, people. Think of
Aliens.
He can only teleport short. Yeah, I know, but it's just some, it's just a combination of multiple mutants, I guess. Hey Rogue, I'm not sure if I said hi to you already. It's good to see you. In the X-Men Origins game, we're gonna talk about the game here in a little bit. I miss Will I Am. Character's actually Nightcrawler's dad. Ooh, I did not know that. Okay. I think that I might have known that from the game, but we are going to talk about the game. All right. So we have coming up is the numbers. We do that every time we review a movie. So we're going to cover the numbers where we guess the budget and the box office. So let's get it going.
11, 92, 12.
All right. The numbers. This movie again came out in 2009. One of the, I think they did like a special release in a mall next to me when I lived in Tempe, Arizona, and all the actors came out, like Ryan Reynolds, Wolverine, or Hugh Jackman. They were all out, hanging out, walking down the red carpet.
Nice.
That was pretty cool to see. But anyways, 2009 budget was. And what do you think the gross worldwide was? And then Travis, since you're new, this is when you kind of guess the numbers. You may already know the numbers since you seem pretty smart. But this is when you guess the budget and the box office.
And this is also where, for the new folks here, you realize that I have no idea about anything box office or budget related whatsoever. I don't know why I'm on here reviewing movies.
Yeah, he doesn't know much.
I'm just gonna go with 150 million budget, and they probably made half of that because I know it did really poorly.
Okay, all right. So we got. Oh, hey Nicole. Oh, that's R2. It jumped on me. 155 budget. Okay. Hey Nicole, good to see you. Okay. Yep. Let's see here. Legit just ate an orange 3 minutes ago. Okay, cool. But let's see here.
Let's see.
Yeah, we're pretty safe. We're just being rained on.
Yeah, I got some cleaning up to do tomorrow.
So Travis says 150 million with 600. Ooh.
I didn't really factor in worldwide. I'm going to go ahead and stick with my 75, but that probably might be closer to domestic because I know the unfinished cut that leaked really harmed the box office on this.
Yeah, and we're going to compare the numbers with both movies later. But Deadpool 3 will hit $1 billion. Okay, Tim. Okay. Good to see you, man. 550 million box office. Okay. All right, here we go. So this is from IMDb. The budget was 150 million. It gross worldwide close to 375, but it was $373 million.
I mean, when you divide that up among the main overseas like releases for Hollywood, like where the biggest audiences are, it still would be more than my 75 domestic, but it wouldn't be a whole lot more, I think.
Yeah, and the first weekend, opening weekend, it made 85 million. May 3rd, 2009.
Did better than I thought.
So, it's a superhero movie, so it's going to make something. But
yeah,
I think if this would have made a little bit more, similar to what Deadpool we're going to share with Deadpool's movie, you would have gotten more origin movies. Yeah,
I think so.
I got the budget was way off the growth. Yeah. And normally we have another host, R2 here. He does the like inflation numbers. We didn't do that here. He's on break, but normally do inflation numbers. We did not do that. All right, so I got something fun for you, Beard. I know this is probably your favorite scene in Wolverine Origins.
Oh no.
I'm sure you hoot and hollered on this one. Yeah. I'm sure you loved and rewound this scene
Look,
multiple times.
I am straight enough to recognize when somebody puts in the effort to make themselves look good, and the man did it.
Yeah, my wife. I have to tell my wife this every time when we watch this. But yeah, that's your favorite part of the movie there. Also, there was a video game, which I enjoyed. It was on the Xbox 360, and this was it. So, I don't know if everyone agrees with me, but I thought the game was better than the movie.
I don't know if I played this game. I know I played some of the other X-Men games around that era, but I don't know if I ever played this one.
I don't remember it quite by memory, but I remember you like going through each stage. You do things, and that kind of link to the movie. But the fighting and stuff is really. I mean, you play Wolverine. It's a really fun game. So this was G.I. Joe, Rise of Cobra, Terminator Salvation, Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen. This was affected by the writer strike. So as kids, we wondered why so many bad movies were coming. Well, yeah, that was 2009, 2008 when that all happened. You're getting something similar today with what happened in 2023. But this game was actually fun. I remember this game. I remember playing it. Maybe if you can find a way to stream it, you can stream this game, Beard.
I mean, there were a lot of good Marvel games that came out during this time.
Yep. So, okay, we're going to do fun facts. You ready?
All right.
You've got the list of fun facts.
I've got a few. There are a lot.
Yeah.
That's the fact, Jack! That's the fact, Jack!
All right. So, before the show, I asked you to make 2 or 3. So, what do you got for me?
I've got 4.
Now, Travis has told us quite a bit.
Oh, yeah. And some of what I've got here is actually hybridized a couple of things together. So, first of all, Ryan Reynolds and I forget, it might have been Will.I.am, were the only people like in Marvel films to ever not have to audition for their role. Because it was automatically picked. It's like, yeah, we got you. You're on. But originally, Deadpool's role was going to be just a cameo at the beginning. But when they got Ryan Reynolds on board, they decided to extend it and make that whole ending fight scene. And I really wish they had just stuck with the cameo.
Yeah, I think the cameo just went better, and maybe he would have fought in some other weird mutant.
Yeah,
that would have made more sense. But okay.
For the scenes where Wolverine gets infused with adamantium, Hugh Jackman basically spent 2 full days of shooting underwater.
Wow.
Just show up on set. We're going to submerge you. Let us know if you don't get enough air. just chill out, buddy.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I touched on this one earlier. Originally, X-Men First Class was developed, or before First Class was developed, there had been a sequel plan to explain the origins of Magneto, titled X-Men Origins Magneto, but they scrapped it, I think, mostly because, kind of like we said earlier, this movie just didn't quite perform as well as they wanted.
Yeah.
And David Harbour from Stranger Things and that other Hellboy reboot from a few years ago auditioned to play the role of the Blob. He said at one time, recounting things, he said, they called me and the director, we met like at a hotel, and he was like, David, look, you're wonderful. We really think you're just a great actor. We're just concerned. We're really concerned. He says, I was like, why? What's your concern? I'm good to go. I'm available. Let's do this. And they were like, no, it's just you lifted up your shirt and we saw we're just a little worried about your health. He says, I was like, wait a minute, dude. You're telling me I'm too fat to play the Blob? You know what? That's awesome. I have to get the F back to New York anyway. That's my audition.
Wow.
Well, it was actually very physically strenuous. The guy, I forget the name, who actually played it, they had to invent a cooling system to circulate water through that suit. He wasn't even in it that long, but it just basically was going to cook him if they didn't have that cooling in there.
Yeah. That's anyway. That's interesting. Well, Rick says if Ryan Reynolds hadn't done this film, Sean William Scott would have been Wade Wilson. Oh, true.
I could potentially see it.
Yeah. One thing to argue in this film has some of the best casting choices in comic history, and so many in one film. Yeah. Yeah. I just think the casting was okay. I just wish the characters were written a little better. Um. All right. So basically, the end of this movie really is Wolverine gets his memory wiped because he gets shot in the head. So
With
he
an adamantium bullet.
yeah, and he completely forgets literally everything up to that point, which is a shame because he doesn't know the girl that his girlfriend. He doesn't know who she is when she passes away. So if you haven't seen that, sorry, spoilers. It's like a 20-year-old movie. So, but yeah, there we go. All right, so we're gonna go into our second movie, Deadpool.
Let's talk about the
Oh,
better one.
wait a second. I totally forgot this, and I blame you.
That's
actually.
fine.
We are going to do the Criticless review first of Wolverine.
Oh, that's right.
Now, Criticless is a review site, if you don't know, where you can review movies. It's a friend of ours, Blaine, over there at
We're not
Criticless.
sponsored. We just like him.
We just like him. We're not sponsored by him. But this is a cool review site, so you can come in here, make yourself an account. You can follow us and check out all our reviews. We post our videos there after the fact and everything. So you could definitely check this out. It's really cool, criticals.com. Now let's go ahead and rate this. This is kind of what we do. We keep it pretty simple, but this is Wolverine Origin. So I'm kind of right in this area.
I'm maybe low decent,
Okay.
simply for what they did to Deadpool.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're really.
Yes, you took the merc with the you take the merc with the mouth and you sewed up his mouth. You had the perfect actor and you just.
So R2 says, since he is kind of the co-host still, or main man of the channel, he's just on break. He says 66. I said 59. You said 50. So we're gonna go in the middle, and I think that would be right around maybe 55. There you go. Decent.
It's definitely not above decent. So, all right.
Okay. Decent level. Okay. All right. Graphic language. There's a little bit.
A little.
How much violence? Quite a little bit of violence.
Yes, but it's not graphic violence.
Yeah, there is nudity a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write
to ask, wait, what? But yeah.
You. It's a maybe on family friendly. I mean, you can watch this with your kids.
I mean, pretty much almost everything in there can be shown on network TV. So you wouldn't have to cut very much. Yeah. So yeah.
So there you go. That's our review of X-Men Origin. I'll post the video after we go live, but there it is. Cool. All right, so let's get back to the second movie.
Huge jacked man ass.
Yep, pretty much. All right, so we're gonna do Deadpool now. Now this movie, I think, got a lot of people excited. Let's see here. It came out in 2016, and like you said, Ryan Reynolds was kind of really pushing to redo Deadpool.
Well, he had been trying to do Deadpool and in talks to do a Deadpool movie even before Origins Wolverine. But they just never got it off the ground. And I don't know if it was ever confirmed, but everybody definitely suspects that he's the one that leaked the test footage. That's basically that opening fight scene. Because I don't know if you remember when that leaked, and that was like there was no announcement. It just showed up on the internet, and
maybe because he's doing that with all the other movies.
Yeah,
with the current movie, so maybe. I think Deadpool was a character just similar to like Iron Man, where most people, if you were outside of the comic world, you really didn't know who Deadpool was. So it was probably really hard to sell this movie to the executives, right? I would assume.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a guy that cracks jokes and slices people's heads off with swords. You know,
yeah. He would point to his role in Blade 2 and be like, "See that character I was playing? That was basically Deadpool. Let me do that, but with a costume."
Right, and it had to be rated R, and a lot of people, you never really saw like a rated R superhero movie unless it was like Punisher, right? Yeah. So and I think people didn't want superhero movies to be rated R, right? Because it takes out it takes out a good chunk of your audience, kids.
Yeah.
Around
Oh, sorry about that.
around the time he was trying to do a spinoff, there was talk of Venom spinoff with Topher. Yeah, weird times. Yeah.
Yeah, and since you
Um,
mentioned, kids kind of being off the table for this, I don't think I included in my facts, but one of the very first people to ever see this was a terminally ill 13-year-old boy that really wanted to see it, but he couldn't go to a premiere. So Ryan Reynolds brought a copy to his house and they watched it together. And I'm thinking that must have been awkward for moms sitting on the couch when they get to some certain scenes.
yeah. Travis had no idea who Deadpool was until 2000. Yeah, so most people were like that, and
Yeah.
that's similar, very similar to Iron Man. It's very similar to like Black Panther. That really were good movies and just kind of introduced new characters to people that weren't Superman, that weren't Spider-Man, and they wasn't Batman. Because remember at this time when this movie came out, you did have MCU was starting to get, it was really on the top of its game.
Yeah.
You had the Batman movies with Christian Bale. So there was already a ton of superhero movies. So this, you really had to. It was probably really hard to sell this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really would have been with the executives. It's definitely one of those things that you have to know the audience.
Right. Who came first, Deathstroke or Deadpool?
There's a joke there, but this is not a Saturday show. I'm
not a
keeping
Saturday show. But yeah, Blade 3. Rick says Blade 3.
Oh yeah, it was 3. Yes, that's right.
He's always fact checking us.
That's fine.
Yeah, whatever.
Somebody's got to do it because I'm certainly not going to do it.
Okay, it was a rhetorical question, R2. All right. So we have basically two origin stories were very different, right? With Wolverine, you kind of got to rush into things where like, hey, he was this dude, he lived forever, he never really died, he had a brother, and then boom, here you are. Here's his story where he, is in modern times. It was very Highlander.
I kind of like how Deadpool did it better, where we don't spend an hour before he puts on the costume. We kind of bounce back and forth and it works really well with Deadpool because he's narrating it, breaking the fourth wall. And so I think this was probably my favorite origin story in a superhero movie.
So they start out
portrayed,
and they did a lot of like origins of origins. So like in the beginning credits, it shows the slow motion of his fight in the SUV, and you're like, what's going on here, right? Which was really funny because he makes jokes about like crappy writer or some loser as a director or whatever. And then he shows how they got to that point, right? He gets into the cab. He talks about his love story.
He basically does the "I bet you're wondering how I got here" trope over and over again, but for some reason it works really well.
Yeah, because he does, okay, here's me tumbling in slow motion this SUV. Here's how I got to the SUV. Here's how I got before I even wanted to get into that taxi cab, right? And how I became this character. And I got into the taxi cab. And then you get the rest of the movie. And I think the way they've told the story here, his origin, was really good. And like you said, it was very clean.
I mean, because
you didn't get lost. You weren't lost in it. You're like, oh,
right,
that's the taxi cab. Or
I mean, it's somewhere around the halfway point in the movie when we actually finish with the origin story and pick up like the current quest that he's on for the rest of the movie. But because we've bounced back and forth between origin story and what he's doing at the moment and things like that, it doesn't feel like it's wasted time.
Yeah,
it feels like you're actually moving forward.
Yeah, he falls in that dumpster truck with his hand cut off. He's like, and now you know why I'm here.
Yeah. Pretty much. All right, we're here. Sorry about bleeding on your pile of garbage.
Yeah, and the other thing too with this movie is it's very a fourth wall breaking, right? He's very Zach Morris, right? He talks to the camera. He explains certain situations, or he jokes about certain things. Like he makes fun of Hugh Jackman. He talks about old Deadpool. He
Or
references
whenever he's only seeing 2 X-Men, he says, it's weird that you're the only 2 I ever see. It's almost like the producers couldn't afford another X-Man.
Yeah, no, or he talks about his Ryan Reynolds playing Green Lantern. There's all kinds
Just
of
don't, whatever you do, don't make the super suit green. We're computer generated.
Yeah, so he's just very he's communicating not only by the visuals, by his narration, and just him talking straight to the audience. It's very Ferris Bueller, right?
Yep.
Ferris Bueller did that.
They even parodied Ferris Bueller at the end of the credits.
Yeah, when I see a movie that do this type of stuff, it's very Ferris Bueller and it's very Zach Morris. Zach Morris and Saved by the Bell did that a lot. So it kind of makes you think if Ryan Reynolds was a fan of those two.
Yeah.
But
Deadpool does that all the time in the comics anyway, but the way Reynolds does it is just so natural that it's almost like his brain has worked like that since he was a kid.
Yeah, right. Well, I remember when Ryan Reynolds, the first movie I saw with Ryan Reynolds was where he's in college. Oh man, hold on, I'll find it. It's kind of like a American Pie type of movie.
Yeah. I can't think of the name either. Somebody's going to yell at us and chat.
Yeah, you know what it's probably going to be? It's probably going to be R2, and he's going to be like, "Look, guys, it's this."
Or he's just going to actually pop up. Like you're going to see his avatar pop up. He's going to say the name of the movie and disappear.
Yeah, hold on, I'm gonna find it. Because he wasn't Harold and Kumar. Oh,
no.
Dang it! Hold on.
While you're looking that up, the first one I saw him in was after that, and that was Waiting. And
Waiting. That's a good one.
If you've never seen Waiting, that'll make you be nice to every single person that ever touches your food for the rest of your life.
Oh, goodness. Now I can't find it. Hold on. I'm scrolling. Van Wilder.
There we go.
That was one of the first movies I saw with him, and I was like, this dude's funny. Right? Very funny. Haha, I beat you to it. Van Wilder.
He probably had it typed 20 minutes ago, and he was just sitting here waiting for it.
Most likely. Yeah, Van Wilder was really funny movie. And then he did Waiting. That was another good one. But yeah, he kind of plays the same character in every movie.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a few movies where he's more serious. But yeah, he does kind of play the smart aleck. The one-liners, like almost, cracks jokes all the time, sort of to like Chandler and Friends.
Yeah.
So, all right. So yeah, this is a love story. I don't know who else. If you don't know, it is a love story.
It was advertised as a Valentine's Day film.
in this version of Deadpool, he explained they later on it is explained to people that this is an alternative timeline of Deadpool. It's not related to the one in Origins. But he is a merc. He's a gun for hire. He was a special forces guy. He does have special capabilities like mutant DNA that gets enhanced. But the difference is how he gets enhanced, how he gets to where he gets. And it basically starts off where he finds literally the love of his life, who I believe was a hooker, and in a bar. So, and they spend almost the whole year. It's almost a year that they show them, blossoming their relationship and how they really just get along. They
like to celebrate their holidays.
They did. Yes, I'm sure. Yeah, holiday times in that house was.
Hey, Goose, your big stud! That's me, honey. Take me.
And I mean, come on, Marina Baccarin.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, she was great in this. So she's his girlfriend. It is a love story, like I said, and I actually liked this part of the movie.
Yeah.
Where it showed that he's a normal person, right? Well,
normal is a stretch because she's not normal either. But yes, it definitely humanizes him. He's not just this weird, crazy killer.
Yeah. Yeah. He has some type of compassion to him, right?
Yeah, because he even says that when he the jobs that he takes, being a merc, is he takes like the bleeding heart jobs where most guys would just take where there's money and they get to kill somebody, but he is actually trying to do good just by doing a lot of bad.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's a fun. They show their connection. They're a fun couple. I've had friends like this, and you can tell they have a great chemistry. But he finds out, he finds out he's sick. He finds out he has like literally terminal cancer throughout his entire body.
Yeah, it's long since gotten past the point of being able to detect it, and he's just like, they're like, you're kind of done. And that's actually one of my favorite scenes in this, is where she immediately starts jumping into planning, and he narrates it. He's like, she's already got plan A, B, C, all the way through Z, and she's just running through them. He says, meanwhile, I'm just trying to memorize her face like it's the first time I ever saw her.
Yeah,
and maybe the last time. It's like, God damn, this is a Deadpool movie. I shouldn't be like wiping a tear out of my eye.
Yeah,
he delivers that line so good.
Yeah, you're kind of in tears, right? You're kind of sad about it. It does hit the heartstrings. And yeah, I think that adds to the movie. You kind of had that in X-Men Origins a little bit with Wolverine, where his, he kind of had a love interest, but it wasn't as good as this.
Yeah,
they missed the boat on that one. Now he does get sick, so he goes out and tries to find a cure. Where he kind of mopes around, but then he does kind of find a cure, potentially a cure. And this is the main villain. This is Ajax Francis, where he's a doctor. He does have mutant capabilities as well, and he's kind of enhancing mutants, or he's kind of like supercharging them, right?
Yeah. Wade went into this because he was basically told that it's experimental thing that might be able to cure your cancer, and he's basically doing anything possible because he doesn't want to drag Vanessa through all of that. But he doesn't realize that, I think what he's told eventually by Ajax is that they're not making people like him better. They're trying to make him into basically mutant slaves. They'll be fitted with a control collar, but in order to kind of unlock his mutant ability, they torture him. They have to put him through a ton of stress to try to trigger everything.
Yeah, because they want his mutant abilities to be dominant. And Ajax is an actual comic character. He's a cyborg in the comic books. He's not really this like.
Yeah, they took a few liberties in this movie, but I don't think that it worked, because like in the comics, Vanessa is also a mutant.
Yeah.
But yeah, just having him kind of be this, he feels no pain, but he has like heightened strength and reflexes.
Right. Yeah, which
works. Makes
sense. But so you get he gets involved, and then stuff goes horribly wrong. He gets cured by cancer, but he gets this healing ability, but his body's always carrying cancer in it because it's never going away. So he's always kind of like healing. So that's why you get this, which is a lot better and similar to what we saw in X-Men Origins, right?
Yeah. I mean, they could have gone even more disgusting, because some of the comic book artist renderings of him, he looks like a meatball.
Well, yeah, because his body's constantly healing. His cells are being healed like every second, right?
Yeah.
Because the cancer is just eating away at him, but also it's curing him. So, but the guy that Ryan Reynolds is kind of leaning on there, that is the main. Sorry, I was reading R2's thing. He's kind of the main
makeup artist.
Makeup artist. Sorry.
Yeah.
Jeez. R2. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I have this. I read this, but I don't think it's in my list. I don't remember the exact amount of hours that it took to get him into like the full body, like prosthetics and makeup and everything for that fight scene. But once he had it on, he could not sit or lay down.
Yeah.
Spend the next like 8 hours on his feet.
Yeah. Most actors, it's interesting what they go through to do these makeup. And I'm glad they did makeup and not CG.
Yeah.
Because they could have easily done CG. And he looks great and not great at the same time. But basically, yes, he's bald. He has no hair. He's disfigured. He looks like a burn victim. What did T.J. Miller say? He looks like Freddy Krueger.
Oh, T.J. Miller went off on him. He just like was rattling on. I'm sure a lot of that was ad-libbed.
I miss T.J. Miller. He needs to come back.
Yeah, that was a fantastic back and forth because at first Wade's agreeing with him, and then he's like, okay, yeah, you made your point. All right, that's enough.
Yeah. And there you go. He's in his hoodie, and he's kind of, hiding himself. He does try to go back to his love, because the laboratory burns down, and Ajax escapes. He's not sure what to do with his life at this moment.
He wants to go back to her, but he can't bring himself to subject her to what he looks like now.
Yeah, and he's kind of lost. He's not sure what to do at the moment, right? So he ends up I think it's after he talks to TJ. He starts redoing his Mark stuff, but then he puts a costume on and he does other like Spider-Man. He goes and fights wrestling matches.
Yeah, because yes, R2, that's one of them. Looks like an avocado that had sex with an older avocado.
Yeah.
But yes, he kind of takes on the goal of tracking down Ajax because Ajax had told him at one point in the fight at the lab that he could make him look like his old self again.
Yeah.
And so now he's just kind of like tracking everybody, trying to get back to him.
That's too bad that Ryan Reynolds and T.J. Miller apparently don't like each other.
Oh, wow.
That's too bad because T.J. Miller's we've talked about T.J. Miller before, and I think there's a reason why people don't talk to him. I think he got blacklisted for some stupid reason. Too bad. Because they worked really well together. Now, again, this is what he looked like in Origins, and this is what he looked like in this movie. Some similar. He could still talk. He was bald. He looked disfigured, but very, very different. They even made his eyes like triangles when his eyes got red. Remember that?
Oh yeah, that was weird.
That was very weird. But yeah, it's just kind of funny because that's why I was like, we should. It's fun. That's why I wanted to. It was fun to compare these two movies because you get to see what changed over the years and why.
And just think if we had gotten a Deadpool like we get in Deadpool, but in Origins, and then spin it off into that same universe into his own film or something like that, that would have been great.
Yeah, and our friend of the channel, Roman, the Emperor, sent us this picture here.
Oh, yes, he mentioned that.
He has a wall of figurines, and so here he is. Here's Deadpool with Weapon X.
Yeah, the one on the right is the Deadpool figurine from Origins, which actually Deadpool has one of those in this movie. It's a blink and you miss it scene where he it's like one of the first time he tries to pack and move out to go like get help and she stops him.
Yeah, he's got a lot of figurines. If you want to check out his channel, you can go check it out. He's got a lot of figurines back there. He does show them off every now and then. Thanks, Roman, for sharing that. R2 wanted me to tell you it's Weapon 11.
Yes, that's true.
And I don't think this is actually true. There's rumors that that's false. So I think TJ Miller's got something else happened to him. All right. So, okay. Back to this funny thing. Now, there are some other characters in this movie, in Deadpool, X-Men. There's the 2 X-Men that he jokes about.
I love Colossus.
And remember, in Origins, they showed a lot of X-Men. You even got Professor X in that movie.
Yes, DH Professor X.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that one. But in this one, you have Colossus, which is, I think, in this version of Colossus, with the Days of Future Past and this one, and the future, this version, I think I love this Colossus. I think this is one of the best. The other one was okay, but this one I think is the best. It reminds me of the one in the video game. Yeah,
I really like this too. Plus, he's in what he's wearing is much more akin to what he wore in the Ultimates universe, as opposed to his partner over there, not sidekick, because Stanley hates sidekicks. She's wearing something much more akin to the original kind of X-Men uniform.
Yeah, and then you have and then you have Gina there.
Yes.
know.
And we just gotta have to put this out there. That's Gina. I think they just call her Angel. I think she was a character created for this movie. But the other X-Men there is Negasonic Teenage Warhead, right?
Yeah, because she can make bombs out of her body.
Which, yeah, I like that. Whenever she like introduces herself to Deadpool, and he's like, Negasonic Teenage. Holy, that is awesome.
Yeah. And they do have the X-Men costumes, right? And then Gina's like the villain sidekick in this movie.
She's the muscle. She goes toe to toe with Colossus. That's a great fight.
And this movie, like I said, came out in 2016. So she was right on she was doing Mandalorian at this time. So but yeah,
this was 2016. I didn't really, for some reason my brain wasn't overlapping those two things.
Yeah, she was doing both.
And R2 says Angel Dust is from the comics. Yeah, well, they only called her Angel in this, so I just
okay. He's fact checking all of us right now. He's telling me all kinds of things. He's spreading rumors. It's unbelievable. Okay, so now we're gonna do the numbers for this movie. What do you? This one, obviously, we know probably did a little better than Wolverine. Origins, but let's do the numbers.
11, 92, 12.
All right, so what do you think? 2016 budget, gross, and worldwide. I'm gonna give you a hint. I'm gonna give you kind of a hint here, Beard, and the audience. Opening weekend was in U.S. and Canada. Opening weekend was $132 million.
Yeah, I think the budget was actually pretty low because I don't think the studios were on board with this. Plus, if I remember correctly, it was shot over 48 days.
Yeah, and remember,
over a month.
Wolverine was 150.
Yeah,
with 373. So
I'm going to say that this was probably 175 million. A little bit more than Wolverine, budget. A little bit more than Wolverine, but probably not as much as they would want. And I think gross worldwide, it probably did.
This will blow your mind away.
I'm going to say 750 million, but that's probably low.
55 budget. Okay. Nicole says 425 on the box office.
Yeah, I think the box office went way up there.
Yeah, this is you can watch. Check this out. All right, so budget was 58 million compared to the 150 million that Origins got. There was a lot of cast members in that movie, by the way. And it grossed 782 million.
I was close for the gross. Definitely off on the budget.
The crazy thing is, and when I was doing this research, I'm like, wait, am I writing this right? The gross for US and Canada was literally the same as the worldwide. Almost the same. It was $10 million off of the gross worldwide for Wolverine. So the gross worldwide for Wolverine was 373, right? The gross US Canada for Deadpool was 363. Literally $10 million difference. And the budget was tripled, which is almost tripled, which is crazy. So very, 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 very interesting numbers here. And people were excited for this movie. People who didn't know who this character was were excited for this movie. People who liked Ryan Reynolds were excited for this movie.
I wonder if anybody actually got fooled by the Valentine's Day marketing.
Probably not. I mean, I don't think so.
I don't know. They pushed that pretty hard.
I mean, a lot of people were very excited about this movie. Are you telling me they thought this was like Titanic?
Okay, but now you got to put Deadpool's mask over Rose's face.
Yeah. Yeah, we can do that. All right. Let's see. Here we go. So here's the funny thing I wanted to show you. This is why I thought this movie was also great, and why it's so great that these two movies are finally merging together. Because even in this movie, Ryan Reynolds takes jab at Wolverine or Hugh Jackman. And who even knows if Deadpool in this movie knows who this is? Maybe he's doing Wolverine here.
I think he knows it's Hugh Jackman, because at one point, like, that I think is cut from the magazine that we see him pack away that has like World's Sexiest Man on it, and it's Hugh Jackman. Which earlier in the movie you see a cover that says World's Sexiest Man, and it's Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, they both been it. But it's funny because I wonder this Deadpool. I think we'll see. Maybe in the third movie we'll explain it. I think he knows who Wolverine is.
Yeah.
But again,
I mean, there's a lot of things in here because, like, also, like you said, this is its own continuity, completely separate from anything. But well,
it's on the same timeline, and it's everything after Days of Future Past.
Right, but like this last battle takes place on like a crashed or decommissioned helicarrier.
I know, another
like,
crazy
randomly,
thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wish superheroes just fight in a field.
Yeah, it looked good.
But again, it shows you how these movies are kind of connected, right? How these characters are connected through origins to this. It's so cool, I think, that we're finally going to get something with the both of them. All right, so let's do our fun facts. What do you got for this movie?
All right, I'm going to be quick because I just realized something may have fried when my power blipped and my laptop is not charging. It is nearly dead. Let's go through this. Thanks, weather.
Do we need the yapping dog? I don't have that yet.
No, because I'm a victim here. I'm not the guy that's upset at nothing.
We'll make it quick.
All right. In the comics, Negasonic Teenage Warhead is actually a telepath and a precognitive mutant. Her abilities were changed in the film due to the fact that writers thought that by having explosive powers, it would fit more with her name. Which does fit as a better name, but they were looking at some other mutants that had explosive powers, but they just thought her name was cooler, so they went with that one.
Yeah.
At one point, Deadpool mentions that he looks like he was bitten by a radioactive Shar-Pei. That's a reference to one issue of the Deadpool comic where Deadpool states that he looks like a cross between Ryan Reynolds and a Shar-Pei.
Okay.
So there was that connection even back then.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ryan Reynolds praised Gina Carano for both her strength and gentleness. He said, quote, "She never felt that comfortable manhandling me. I had to keep asking her to be rougher."
Yeah, she was a UFC fighter. So.
Yeah. Let's see. And last one for this movie. It took Ryan Reynolds 40 minutes to get into the suit at the start, but he got it down to 10 minutes by the time they wrapped. They had 9 suits and destroyed 7 of them. He says, quote, "I think it's the most faithful comic book to screen adaptation of a super suit ever." And then he adds, quote, "I just walked off the set with it and basically told them to go F themselves. I waited 10 years to do the movie, and if they want to take the suit back, they can come try and take it from me."
Well, good for him keeping those props.
Yep.
Very good. Those are fun facts. Those are great fun facts, actually. You did great. You did good. Awesome. Found some good ones. I do enjoy the fact that they mentioned Ryan Reynolds in a comic book.
Yeah. I think I remember reading that one. I think it was a Cable Deadpool comic.
Yeah. Okay. So Deadpool 2016. Let's go ahead and rate this on Criticus. Remember, this is on criticus.com. I'm literally going to start here. At 80.
Oh, it is most excellent. It's very most excellent.
Yeah, I'm going to start at 90. Now there are some things you could probably. It's not 100%. I don't think it's a 100% movie. But there are some characters I wish they probably would have done a little better. Like maybe Ajax would have been maybe a little different. But I mean, it's not. Yeah. You have to dig for the nitpick on these. But let's give it a 95. How about that? Would that make you better?
Works for me.
Because 100 is literally like.
Oh yeah, I'll almost never give 100 on anything.
100's like Godfather. Okay. There's definitely graphic language in this.
A lot.
It is
actually you could probably say a ton.
It is very rated R. We don't normally rated our movies on this, but we made an exception. A ton of violence.
Very, very violent.
Actually, we'll just do this.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that.
You see Deadpool fight naked, and then they go to a strip club. Yes.
Yeah, a lot of sexual content. I wouldn't say it's family friendly. I wouldn't take a kid to this.
No, it's definitely not family friendly.
Yeah, there you go. Deadpool, and we rated it most excellent. There you go. Again, I'll add the link later if you want to follow us over there on Criticalist. Now, I know you say your battery's dying.
I mean, if you just want to vamp, I can crawl around and try to plug stuff back in again.
I can do that. So I really wanted to kind of highlight how important the next movie in the Deadpool series, and we'll spend a good maybe another 15 minutes here, but Wolverine and Deadpool have been connected for a good while, and this is not something new in the comics. And these are one of my two favorite covers of both of them. Now, Deadpool started in 91 in New Mutants 98. He was kind of like another character introduced in that, and in the Marvel universe over there. And that's his first appearance, where he didn't really meet Wolverine in that comic. But he did have his first direct contact with Wolverine in Wolverine 88, which was in 1994, which was another fun comic if you haven't seen it out there. And let's see here. See if I can pull up the cover of that one. So this is that cover. If you can find it, go read it. If you can find it digitally, read it too. It's a good one. But yeah, this is where they first meet Wolverine. And maybe they'll redo this in the movie. Maybe they'll recreate this scene. But they've had other notable appearances together. In 94, mostly in the 90s, the early 2000s. The one where a lot of people speculate where the new movie could be kind of shortly based on is Deadpool versus Old Man Logan, which was a limited series that came out in 2017 that focused on the two characters. So we'll see about that. Good night, R2. We're gonna wrap it up here in about 15 minutes. We do kind of wanted to cover some comic book stuff. And then I also wanted to share. So here's a scene. Here you go. Here's a scene of them two fighting in one of the comic books. So there you go. And this is from the first time they met again. This is nice.
They just don't draw them like they used to.
Yeah, they don't really. Number 88 Wolverine. So that was really cool. I mean, look at this yellow suit. That's what we're hopefully getting in the movie, right?
Although I'm thinking that I think they're going to probably CGI out the sleeves because people didn't like the sleeves. So it'll kind of be interesting to see if we get digital Wolverine arms.
Well, maybe they reshot it. But as you can see, the Deadpool outfit kind of looks spot on, right?
Yeah.
And then we have, let's see here. So I already showed the cover of that comic. Now Wolverine, you mentioned, his brown suit. If you're curious, this was his first comic book here. And R2, before you leave, correct me if I'm wrong. You have this one, or you did have this one and you sold it. I can't remember. But this was Wolverine's first cover, first book. And he hasn't really changed over the years.
No.
The only thing that's different really is how his claws come out, right? They got those little capsules right there.
Yeah.
Instead of coming through his skin. And he's got the haircut, usually stays the same, but there's the brown suit. So Rick says he has this issue. Well, good for you, man. That's awesome. You should keep that's a prize issue there. That's good. And then the first issue for Deadpool, where he was a character, but then he got his first book, was this one here. And I actually have this one. I need to frame this one, but I do have this one as well. So there you go. Deadpool, there's the first one. A very clean Deadpool cover. But we were talking backstage. He wasn't, when he first was introduced, he was just a merc. It kind of talked a little bit, but he never did the fourth wall, gimmicky, jokesy stuff. He was just kind of a blabbermouth type of character. I have the new comics of Deadpool Wolverine by Joe Kelly, Adam Kubert. Oh, cool. Very cool. Yeah, I mean, they're the new character that people want to like kind of collect now, just because of this movie. So if you do have them, keep hold of them. Just like they did when the MCU came out. A lot of those comics kind of skyrocketed in value if you're keeping them for that, or you're just keeping them for just history in general,
or just because you like them,
or you like them. Yeah. But again, these two characters have been linked through comic history, and we're finally, hopefully getting a true rendition of Deadpool and Wolverine. So I'm excited.
As long as there's not too much studio meddling, I'm hopeful, because those two guys get along really well. Like the time that you've seen, like when one of them will crash the press junket of the other one and just like put them on the spot with a bunch of stupid questions. They always roll with that stuff really easy, and you can tell that they're actually good friends and have a good time together and play off of each other comedically really well. So there's a lot of potential there, and this might be the movie that gets me back into a theater, and I have not been in a very long time.
The last time I went to a movie in a movie theater was Top Gun Maverick.
I'm not going to say what mine was. It was even longer ago than that.
Okay, well, I like to save. I only go to movie theaters for movies that I truly want to experience in the movie theater. Now, everyone, thanks for stopping by. We're going to wrap it up here, but before we say goodbye, just remember, it's summer now, so go ahead and grab yourself a After the Weekend Mix Tees t-shirt, and you can get that at After the Weekend logo there at mixtees.com. We'll give you 20% off if you use the code ATW20. And if you get it, take a picture, send it to us at After Weekend on Twitter or X. And
don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure they also have tanks there.
They do. They have tank tops. Yeah. If you really need it, like sleeveless, you can have that. Also, you can find other hoodie if you're going to get ready for the winter early. You can get that there too. And you'll also see a shirt there from my channel, Late Night with Cap, by the way. So if you want to just merch it up, you can definitely do that. Well, thanks, Nicole. We appreciate that. And if you haven't already, hit the like button. And if you're new, subscribe. Now, Beard, you're probably one of the busiest men on YouTube. I think you did a show last night. You gamed on Saturday.
I thought I was until I met the infamous Sammy 3P, and the dude's sometimes doing 3 streams a day, almost every single day. So I'm no longer the Troy McClure of YouTube. I'm giving that title to him. I don't know, man.
Does he have a job? But yeah, that's cool. But yeah, what are you doing? Are you doing something with Roman on Thursday?
Well, even before that, I'll be with Jacob in the panel tomorrow for Alien. Shocker. That's going to be a first watch for me. I've seen clips of it, but I've never sat down and watched the entirety of it. I know, boo me. Bring it on.
I'm not going to boo you. I'm not going to boo you.
But yeah. I knew there was going to be something.
Stupid fat hobbit.
Thursday, I'll be over with Roman of the Empire and everybody for, it's like the next to last episode of The Acolyte, I think, for the first season.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So we'll see where that's going. And Sunday afternoons, I've been regularly joining Stark of Iron and Snail Messiah for a deep dive into the Fallout universe, and we just kind of like bros hanging out and talking nerdy stuff. So that's pretty fun.
Aaron's right though. I had to say it from podcast. Had to say it podcast. He says, remember when Beard had to be strong armed to doing a show? Yes. We had to we use look, he started here first. Actually, no,
Yep.
he started on my channel first. Then
Oh
he
yeah, that's
promoted
right.
it.
But okay, then the last thing, and Aaron, you might get a kick out of this, seeing as how much you try to push me to do things. I'm actually starting to put stuff on my own channel right now. It's just really casual gaming stuff, gaming streaming. I don't even have like a starting thumbnail or anything. I got to make this stuff up as I go, but I'm just going to do it to make myself do it. We'll see where that goes.
We'll see how it goes. You can videotape your. You can actually maybe you can go live doing this.
I don't know. I've got enough limbs and leaves to clean up after the hurricane tomorrow. So,
well, if you need help with thumbnails, I know a guy.
Oh yeah. Is it the same guy that made that right there? Because he does pretty good work.
Yeah, I also know a guy that does banners and other things. So, by the way, if you do a lawn mowing channel, it'll probably do really well. There's a lot of lawn mower channel out there.
If I had more lawns that I wasn't just like hitting the same few all the time over and
Doesn't
over
matter.
again,
They want to see how you do every time.
Yeah, interesting. It's weird. And I thought I watched some weird stuff on YouTube.
Day in life of lawnmower, man. Yeah, it's out there. Look it up.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. It's good that you're doing this. I'm glad to see you're doing some gaming. He might be doing some more gaming here on this channel. And maybe we'll team up. Maybe I will stream on my Caps Arcade and you can stream on your channel. We'll do like a team up thing. That might be fun. So a lot of cool stuff. All right, everyone, have a good, safe week. Hopefully you are keeping yourself cool in these wherever it's hot and dry wherever it's wet. And make sure to drink lots of water. Do you want to say anything before we head off?
No, I think we've covered everything. I've got nothing else.
Well, reminder.
Fun, somebody stole all our lunches.
I'll tell you who took those lunches. That damn Sasquatch.
Yeah, watch out for those Sasquatch. If you're camping over the summer, be aware. All right, everyone, have a good weekend. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on After the Weekend. Take care.
Truck to refrigerators to dumpster, 360 spin onto the palace, backflip gainer into the trash.
This is it. Now, big just relax and have fun. Just gonna have fun with it.
Talking away, I don't know what to say. I'll say it anyway.
I'm lucky
Today's another day to find you sighing away. I'll be coming for your love, okay?